I attended Baker University for a degree in business and fashion merchandising, and then while I was at Baker, kind of decided that maybe I wanted to explore teaching, and I even had an advisor at Baker who suggested it. So I went ahead and took a few classes at Baker in the education arena and decided that that was something that I wanted to do, but wanted to finish up my degree at Baker since I was already in my junior year. Finished up and then went ahead and went directly to Kansas State, where I worked on my master's in education and my credentials to teach family consumer science. Did my student teaching in Olathe, and then was able to hire on the next year, and I was at Olathe North for 21 years. So completed my entire teaching career at Olathe North, and I'm next year going to be leaving the classroom and becoming the new CTE coordinator for the Olathe schools.
I had always been a long-time 4-H'er, and actually when I went to school, and I'm a graduate of Fort Hays State, back then it was called Home Economics, and it was kind of an easy degree for me, but it made so much sense to me. So that's why I am, now I am a FACS teacher.
I started out as a preschool teacher, and I taught preschool for somewhere between 15 and 17 years, from infants all the way up through early elementary, working in a variety of settings. I was always interested in making a difference and being able to help other people to be better at the things that they wanted to be better at, whether that was teaching parenting skills or teaching issues related to wise consumerism, or working with young children in terms of what skills work and what skills don't work, how to be the best teacher, whether it be for preschool age children or college students. There's similarities between all of those, and so I chose family and consumer sciences as a major area of study because it was a way for me to, much like the farmer working in his field, for me to see the outcome of my efforts almost every day of my life.
When I was back in high school, I had the opportunity to babysit for several families in the area. That was about the only part-time job I was able to get because my parents were kind of one of those that thought school should be my job. I don't regret that because I learned an awful lot about people and families in that process. One of the families that I babysat for was going through a family crisis. And grandma was did die of cancer, and it happened fairly quickly, so they were a little surprised by it. But one of the things that struck me is how ill-prepared they were to deal with that family crisis. The parents were busy making the funeral arrangements, dealing with their own grief, doing the things that they had to do at that time, and their children kind of got lost in the shuffle. Now, it wasn't a deliberate thing. I got the impression, had no clue what to do, what to say. I mean, how do you explain to a 5-year-old that grandma died and is never coming back again? So the children were lost and very, very kind of scared and clueless as to what was going on. I realized then that parenting is very difficult and people need to learn better how to be better parents, how to be better family members, how to build those interrelationship skills with one another. And so I was debating the best way to help with that process and decided then that home economics was the field to go into. So I became a teacher to help people become better family members so that they could go on and be more successful in their lives, because it doesn't matter what career you go into, you're going to be a family member.
The main reason I chose to go into family and consumer sciences education is really because I think that FACS teachers do such an important thing for our students in our society. Because I feel like a lot of the things we do today on a government level and a society level are kind of fixing the problem rather than preventing the problem. I feel like family and consumer sciences educators are the biggest preventative piece for some of the biggest problems we have facing Americans right now.
One of the main reasons I became a FACS teacher was an advisor that I had, and to me has been a role model for a number of different aspects of my life, my professional life. So I said, oh, I don't think I could do that. And she's like,
No, you have the skills. That's where I think you should go.
I took a class in college at Kansas State University called Human Growth and Development, and the college professor was Dr. Kelly Welch. I loved it. I loved the topic, the subject, how the behaviors and the lifespan and the environment and how it affected your overall life and events and this and that, and how one thing could propel you to this part of life and one thing can propel you to this and can bring you back. And it was just such an enjoyable class. She was an amazing teacher. She had all this energy. I got a job with her. And I said, I'd really like to teach this to high school kids and coach. And she introduced me to Sally Yonke at Kansas State, and the rest is history.
I think that students should enter the FACS profession because it is incredibly rewarding. You are teaching other people how to be successful in their life, and they're going to carry that with them for the rest of their life. And so my father told me, if you want to make a difference, don't be a teacher, join the Peace Corps. And I think he was incorrect, because I can see in my former students and even in myself the things that I learned specifically in my family and consumer sciences classes that are making me successful. So if you want to make a difference in someone's life, be a FACS teacher.
Well, I think FACS education is really about life literacy. And so it's about how we live our lives, things that we can do to improve our lives. And I think it's just a great thing to help instill into young people. I don't think families are serving the function that they used to, so they need to learn this information somewhere.
You know, there are a lot of challenges, but there are also a lot of benefits and a lot of rewards. When you work with kids and you see that you're making a difference, not necessarily just in the day-to-day. I mean, you see that, but you think, hopefully what you're teaching is going to extend to when they're a parent, to their children. It's those kind of things that you think, I hope I'm making a difference.
I think people should choose to be a FACS teacher if they desire to help people be the best they can be and just have a happy, healthier life, because that is at the core of what FACS teachers do.
To me, FACS education is about life skills, and it's about teaching kids how to cope. It's giving them some basic tools that they can use throughout their life. It's not just about the knowledge of any particular curriculum area, but it's how do I cope with all of those things that I'm going to come across in life. It's about leadership, it's about problem solving, it's about getting a chance to put myself into some situations that I might not just normally encounter in other classes. And I think the thing that I see in FACS students is that they gain confidence, they gain some maturity, and they just grow through the course of a FACS education.
I feel if I could say you should say yes to FCS, it would be because it goes hand in hand with the FCCLA tagline. It's the ultimate leadership experience. With that, in the classroom, you are learning so much that it will help you to become to #adult.
I think people should choose this career because we are the career that creates all the other careers. We are the career that can work on the student as a person, but also help prepare them for college and careers.
The rewards are watching those students grow from 7th grade to 12th grade and becoming leaders, going out, and I have one student that's going to be a teacher starting in another year after having gone through 7th through 12th grade FCCLA and FACS. And those are the kind of things when they come back to you and say thank you, or they say, I should have listened to you, or they say, wow, you really did kind of know what you were talking about. Those are the kinds of rewards that keep you doing what you do year after year.
Every day at school, every day, like, I feel like I won at life, and that no one should love their job as much as I do. And it's like, FACS has been such a gift
to my adult life.
My favorite thing about teaching is the relationships that I make with my students. Whether I get them freshman year or whether I get them senior year, getting to know those kids and seeing them every day and growing their knowledge in interior design is really, really special to me. But also watching them come back as alumni and telling me that they're working at Hollis and Miller at a Kansas City architecture firm, or they are interning in New York this summer.
The rewards are, you may not see them initially, but I've had students come back to me years later, 5 years later, whatever, and say, oh, Miss Mass, I loved your class. Yours was the most practical, what I needed, it was the most helpful. Everybody should take your class. And I'm like, you know what, hun, you're right. You need to go tell the school board that.
I would have to say the most rewarding part about being a teacher is to be able to watch students get it. When that light bulb comes on and they take off on their own, it's like, they got it, let them go.
Well, I get to feel good every day about providing a service to students and people and finding ways to help them develop and be the best that they can possibly be. And I go to sleep feeling pretty good, knowing that that's my goal, my ambition, is to help others be the best they can be.
An obvious reward of teaching is watching a student grow. You know, there's nothing like presenting an idea to a student and kind of watching it play across their mind, seeing if they really register and they engage, and then watching them kind of wrap their mind around it and then take this topic or this idea that I'm teaching them and really make it their own. And you know, that's one of my favorite things to watch with students. The rewards is getting to know different students from different backgrounds, different lives, different circles, different cultures. Being with them every day is honestly the greatest reward.
I keep a notebook of letters. Some are just funny little things that have happened. But anytime I feel a little bit discouraged or like, oh, I really didn't do very well, I can look back at my book and think, wow, that was, you know, this is my life, and it feels so good. And to think that at the end of my life I could look at that and think, wow, this is the real paycheck, is getting to do that.
I think, to me, one of the biggest challenges is motivating students today, and we have to get very creative, and it's something that we have to understand our students. So before you can teach a child, you have to capture their heart. You have to make a connection, and sometimes that's not easy with all of your students. There are some students that connection is automatic, and then there are others that you have to work really hard with. And so to me, that is one of the biggest challenges of teaching.
I think probably one of the biggest challenges of teaching, especially in career and tech ed, is that we still haven't made that transition about the importance of being ready for both college and career. Sometimes when students come into our programs, they think, oh, this is a fun playtime, and they don't understand that what we are teaching them is really research-based. It's based on developmentally appropriate practices, and there is logic, and there is reasoning, and there is research to back it up. And so I think sometimes kids forget that, parents forget that.
Entering this profession is a diverse career option. That's huge. Okay, but I also wanted to say this. If you enjoy working with people of all ages, FACS is for you. If you enjoy learning by doing, FACS is for you. FACS is multidisciplinary, which means it covers a lot of things, a lot of topics, a lot of relationships. It offers many areas that affect the family and surviving in the 21st century, professionally and personally. Because what I can do in my home, I can teach others to do in my profession. And I think it's important to make sure that family continues to be the basic unit of society. Probably the best words that I can share with anyone, especially as I am heading into retirement, so I am about at that point in my life, is to embrace change. Always keep your focus on students and what their needs are, what they need in terms of from a societal standpoint, from a personal standpoint. Keep those students in mind constantly in any decisions that you make. And remember, it is service. So that's the heart of what we do.
Continue to work and guide yourself with your heart, because the rewards that you'll find are going to way outweigh the challenges that'll come if you go with your heart and stay where you're supposed to be. And never forget that you are not in it by yourself. Connect with your teachers, your colleagues, with people outside of the organization and the public. Professional organizations are one of the best places to get involved. Get involved in the state organizations with the local FACS organizations, the career and technical ed organization, any of the teaching organizations where you have the opportunity to share your knowledge and more so listen to what someone else is doing, because you never know when they may be having the same problem you've had and now you don't have to reinvent the wheel because somebody's already made it. So just hang on to what you believed when you started and don't let anybody ever take it away from you.
Words of wisdom is get involved. Get involved in those professional organizations, attend the meetings. I had a mentor when I started, and the first thing was, you're going to go to our ACTE conference. It wasn't called that at that time, but attending those professional development activities, check in with the State Department. If you're an FCCLA advisor, check with the state advisor, because they are the ones that can help you and give you guidance as needed. Also, networking with other teachers across the state. Not only is it helpful to you as a teacher, but it also motivates you, and also you gain many friendships from that. And that also gives you connections with other students across the state. So get involved yourself and help your students get involved, because that is the reward of being a family and consumer sciences teacher. And I wouldn't give it up for anything.
When I think about FACS as it relates to Counselor Grove High School, we've had the sad knowledge of what it's like to not have a FACS program. And one of the things I think about during that time frame, it created a void within our school, not only for our kids individually, academically, but also for the life of our school. Things that we've come to find out that we really missed during that time is that one was the social and emotional support that our students gained in an educational and academic setting. Also, we've seen the strength that it provides to us, especially in light of the emphasis on career and college preparation. Our career and life planning class is essential in our curriculum, and we really depend on it greatly to help prepare our kids both academically as well as assisting them with some personal financial planning.
What I love about teaching family and consumer sciences is not only the rich history of our profession, but the feeling of support from our colleagues across the state. If you want to teach others about something so crucial that you'll enhance the future of families and communities for years to come, if you want to constantly feel that you're making a difference in other people's lives and have fun along the way, become a family and consumer sciences teacher. If you love variety and excitement, teaching family and consumer sciences might be a good fit for you. Because of the diversity of our content, I get to teach several different topics within a day, and I get to help students grow in their leadership skills along with that. I never want to become bored with my job, and by teaching FACS, I know I never will. I hope that you'll consider saying yes to FCS and be open to the opportunity to join the greatest profession out there.
It's not just one of those little classes that, oh, I'm going to take it and get an easy A and hopefully that's the end of it. No, you're going to need it all. You're going to need to learn all this stuff, no matter how much you want to or don't want to. There's certain stuff that you have to learn, and that's what FACS class teaches you. It teaches you how to manage life, really, you know. It shows you basically how to prepare. And being a senior and getting ready to go into college in the real world, I'm glad that I had all this. Kind of give me a heads up of what to do, because without it I think I'd be completely lost. So if you listen to me at all, take a FACS class. Take a lot of them.
And that's why you should say yes to FCS in Kansas.